Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Welcome back to Bob's Variety Hour. It's the New Orleans Talk Network on Wednesday, the Wednesday of November. I'll get it out, folks. And as you know, we schedule each of our weeks with a different theme. As you know, we have, because of my background in restaurants, we have two shows devoted to chefs, first of all, around the United States, and one involving international chefs. We also do, for all the kind of interested not paranormal, but spiritual type people, we do a Talk to the Tarot with a lady from San Diego now. And then we also, in the fourth week, which is one of our most educational and informative, Know Your Nonprofit, where you can actually learn about the wonderful resources that are available to you or members of your family and loved ones in our city, because there's so many that go unknown that we want to give that exposure. Now, but however, the fifth Wednesday, which doesn't come every month, we have never really planned it. So we're calling it Lagniappe Sorpresa, which is kind of surprise, Lagniappe meaning an extra. And we won't always do the same thing, obviously. And today we're talking about a subject that normally we leave to the specialists. There's a lot of talk shows that specialize in politics, even some here that handle in their day-to-day talk involving the political situation here in our cities. But I kind of stay clear of that. As you know, Bob's Variety Hour is supposed to be with the hump day of radio talk shows. We're kind of uplifting, kind of Angela Hill style, try to talk about subjects that are educational, but mainly things that are upbeat, informative, positive. In between all the negative that we're sandwiched between, not only on our station, but all over the radio and TV, we like to try and always keep it upbeat. However, we did say, well, without stepping on anybody's toes, I saw a political race or a political campaign that I thought needed to be addressed. And because of I'm seeing and hoping the positive results that is going to be reached, I believe, successfully by the candidate-elect. And I'm specifically talking today about Council District E. Now, this is the eastern part, including the 9, upper and lower 9, etc. And it's been a kind of like a seesaw where we've had African-American politicians or council people, as well as Vietnamese. So it's been back and forth, back and forth. Meanwhile, which is great because it represents the two major population segments, but at the same time still has not been the fulfillment that the Eastern District needs, especially post-Katrina. Everybody talks about post-Katrina, but that is the one district that still looks like it's still part right after the hurricane without the water. So what we're doing, what I said is, let me take during this period where we have this extended tenure of our existing politicians because of the 300th anniversary or whatever other reasons involved, the council people, just like the mayor, do not take effect until, and we were talking about today, if the date is correct, it's May 5th, 2018. It's sometime in May, but 5/5 is a good day to remember if that happens to be that. And I specifically reached out yesterday, in fact, to this young lady, and who is the Councilwoman-Elect for District E. And she is so responsive that she was able to make today's show. So I had another topic in mind all about movies, which I'll bore you with the next time we have a fifth Wednesday and we don't have anything scheduled. But this popped in my mind. She was very responsive, so it seemed like calmer. I said, I got to go ahead and act on it, and she was willing enough to come in. I'm talking about Ms. Cyndi Nguyen. So, Cyndi, please welcome to the show, and thank you so much for giving us your consideration in your going to be ever-increasing day schedule.
Well, Bob, thanks for having me this morning. Really excited to have this opportunity to talk to you in the next hour about, District E.
District E. Well, like I say, as I spoke to you on the phone yesterday, and you clarified a little bit this morning. We were talking before the show. I never did realize it because I'm in Uptown, and we don't.
You don't come to the east.
Well, we do. We travel, but we don't stay long. Let's put it that way.
Well, we're going to have to get you to stay a little bit longer.
I've got ideas, and I'm hoping you have ideas
Got
too.
it.
The important thing there, though, but I've always sympathized because knowing just our little damage uptown, what we had to go through to get close to normalcy, whereas the major damage being so concentrated in your district, and to date, it still doesn't look like it's even on the road to recovery. No disrespect.
And I could appreciate that. And let me just clarify one thing. So District E also include Venetian Isles.
Okay.
So
See, I don't know all. I was
it's
asking
okay.
someone, and they couldn't even. I said, well, where are the exact parameters of it?
So district is actually 75 miles radius. So I have the largest district in the city of New Orleans.
I loved your website or your Facebook. I love the idea of you doing a visual, like a drone or a plane, a helicopter, whatever, but an overview of the land to show it speaks, volumes.
Correct.
How little concentration of residential, commercial, and this expansive area of nothing.
Like I say, we have buku of space. Okay.
Speaking of French.
Exactly. So District E consists of Venetian Isle, Lake Catherine, Fort Pipe. And so we don't want to forget those neighborhoods out there at all. And then, of course,
I'm sorry, but I did not know that at all.
No, that's okay. And I think Venetian Isle could definitely appreciate, but, I'm about the people in District E, so I want to make sure that when I talk about District E, I talk about all the neighborhoods. So that's also include the East and, of course, the Low 9 that we're representing. And, it's estimated over 96,000 residents in District E.
96,000.
Estimated. So I got to make sure that we continue to, of course, the census is coming out again. But right now, my data shows over 96,000. So you could
that's a lot of folk.
Yeah, buku people. Mm-hmm.
Boku land, but it really is not in proportion to the land mass.
Correct, yeah.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
If you look just at the numbers, it sounds great, but when you see the relatively few land spaces that are occupied, that's our problem.
Well, it's
not that we have to have.
It's very distressing when you live in a community and people have already rebuilt after Katrina.
Well, of course.
We have beautiful homes.
They love their
We have
neighborhood.
beautiful homes in District E, in Venetian Isle. We have beautiful homes in the East, I mean, the Low 9 could definitely use some support in reference to getting their home back into commerce. But, I mean, District E was a thriving community in the old days.
Yes. I mean, there's always complaints. Everybody has complaints of different things, but not the volume of stuff that we have now.
Yeah.
Because it's not, like you say, it's not vital.
Yeah.
It's just there,
But you know what? District E has a new opportunity now. And so, November the 18th, the people spoke really loud and clear.
Okay.
And I'm very humbled to be in that seat as the next city council person to represent the people in District E. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be focusing on the issue that affects our community and making sure that the people issues and needs are being addressed at the city council, as well as creating space for them so that way they can they could play a role in bringing back District E, because city government cannot do it by itself.
Not at all.
Exactly.
And it can't just let one or two people come and speak. Not that there's anything wrong with them speaking, but, if you're going to limit it to only two people to represent these masses is ridiculous. And that's the two. I know you got a 4-part platform, all very good topics. But the first two are the ones I really want to spend some time and I know we're going to have a break. That's why I don't want to get into too much detail. As I tell you, being on these shows, you got to do this kind of stuff. Got to pay the piper. But your first one, of course, is economic development, which I think is the major challenge to that area. The other was, we kind of skirting around it. You're hitting it in great terms, and that is the relationship of the African-American population and the Vietnamese, those percentages. Yeah. I think you just told me it's like 3/4 African-American,
right.
1/4 maybe, or a little bit less than 1/4 Vietnamese, and a small percentage is Hispanic.
Correct.
And with this seesawing that we've had with this position, it's always like, oh, well, good, our person's in now, we're going to get attention, and the rest of the people aren't. And that's what I think we have to overcome. We have to be able to convince that you are the council person for District E, and that's every person there, not just a quarter of the population. Now, you're not in here to do all what's right for your people. You're here for all people.
And Bob, I don't know how much time we have before we go to break, but I could definitely just take this few minutes and just to share with them my background. So
Please. That's what we really should have jumped in, but we got into the deep.
That's okay. So I came over from Vietnam in 1975. I was 5 years old, and the Vietnamese community, as well as the African American community, as well as every community, has their own struggles. Sure. But one thing we do have in common is that we want quality of life for everybody, right? And so when you think about it, just because I'm Vietnamese, that doesn't mean that I don't want quality of life. And my work in the community for the past 16 years has allowed me to work across neighborhood, across different ethnicity, to build up that relationship. Because when you going back to the election, the data shows District E reflects 70% African American. Okay. And I'm very humbled to be able to garnish those vote and support from the African.
It couldn't just be your people putting you in the office. So that's what's good about it. The African recognized that they needed change. That they still haven't found the right person yet to lead them forward to get them back to where they should be and beyond. All right, listen, and we're touching on, like I say, two of the core things, but I need to go ahead and go to break. We're going to come back. We do a little quick raffle. We minimize that. And then we're going to get into the meat of this because I think it's so important that we, one, verify that, as I'm calling it, open access to this individual, you folks out there in District E, and hopefully some of the other districts, because I'd like to put my 2 cents, even though it's none of their business, I understand. But having open access to their council person and, of course, the rest of the council and maybe the mayor, so we all feel that we're in this together. It's not just on our backs, okay? And then also, what can we do to alleviate the problem, to get equality with regard to we're all got privileges from our city. It's not just someone getting some benefits and the others are not. Let's go ahead and do the break. Quick raffle after, and we'll get back with Mrs. Cyndi Nguyen to hear the exciting news of Council District E, okay?
Y'all know me, this is a people person here.
Big homie head.
It's your boy Fred.
This man, big fan.
Right. Listen, we're your host of the New Orleans Talk Network's Fan View. Real fans talk, real sports. Check us out every Thursday night, 6 p.m.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go. Because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Yes, folks. But remember, contrary to what that lady says, you're watching. You're not just listening. You're watching, you're seeing us as well as hearing us on the New Orleans Talk Network, Bob's Variety Hour, the Wednesdays. And you know, this is our lanyap sorpresa, as we call it, where we do something out of the ordinary, different. It's never going to be a pattern like our other weeks. And today we're doing politics of all things, something way beyond me. Okay, but certainly of interest because of being a humanity here living in our fabulous city. Now, we want to do our raffle real quick, if I can stop that. Today we're giving away, this week we're giving away a set of 5 Japanese sake cups. I think Mike's going to put some pictures we took of it. As you can see, these are all hand-painted, an interesting interior with a little circular decoration there. Notice they come boxed, so it's very nice. Now, there you go. See some of the hand-painted illustrations. And check that inside, how cool. It's like a target. I love the inside. Well, we're better than the outside. But anyway, there you go, like a little bullseye. The importance of this is you don't have to drink sake, of course. And some people don't drink like myself. You can do hot tea. What a lovely, especially, a little hot. When you drink hot tea, you don't drink the quantities you do of iced tea. And you always pour it in some kind of, usually like a smaller cup. So you can take as many of these. So if you like hot tea, it's great. Or if you still like the alcohol, you can use them as shooters. So a lot of functionality to them. And again, let's see if we find any interest. Okay, as you know, we run it for 2 weeks. If someone doesn't claim it, and it lasts 3 or 4 times, people haven't been claiming some of the things. So everybody's got their own forte, what they like and what they don't like. But the important thing with our raffle, and it's, I think, somewhat unique, is that you only register one time. So since we've been on the air until we stop or go off the air, we will be doing this weekly raffle. Now, we've done some really nice things, like some great artworks. We just had one last week. We've done jazz tickets. And then we do minor things like this. So we kind of think around the box. So it's not just pleasing one gender or one set of people. All you have to do, then we'll get off, is register one time by sending to my email address, which Mike's going to always be kind enough to put up there, bob@rreview.com. That's the hardest part, rreview.com, with your full name, your email address, and your zip code. And we only ask for the email address because we don't want to disturb you by phone. We will send you a notice that you have won and what you've won and send you a picture of it, that picture you just saw. If you want it, you tell us you do, then we'll make the arrangements. If we don't hear back from you, we have to assume that you don't want it. And after 2 weeks, we give it to, like last week's art piece, we got a lot of praise. People saying, "Oh, what a pretty piece." And I don't know if they didn't register or what, but none of them were chosen. The people who were chosen never responded. So we're making a donation. I'm going to do a plug before we go back to Cyndi. This Saturday, there's a school over here in the West Bank in Marrero called Concordia Elementary. And they're doing their first annual gala fundraiser. It's a dinner, dance, silent auction, and also a verbal auction, of which yours truly will be conducting the verbal auction. So if you want to come out for just a fun time, there's still some tickets left. They're not that expensive, $35 or $50 for VIP. Full food, drinks, entertainment as a band for dancing, and the 2 auctions. You buy some great Christmas presents. So our painting, some of the other last 2 or 3 things that haven't been given away to other sources will be put into their silent auction. So there's a lot of things for Christmas. If you have nothing to do, contact Concordia Elementary, 6700 West Bank Expressway, Marrero. See if you can get a ticket. We'd love to see you out there. Okay, I did more than I was supposed to do today, especially something I'm not supposed to do. I guess it's a promo. We're back with Ms. Cyndi Nguyen, the Councilwoman-Elect till May, and then she'll be a councilwoman or councilperson, who's talking about the challenges of Council District E, which have been at least since Katrina. We always seem to blame everything on Katrina, and it was a major hit to all of us. So we can use that as our point and not worry about way beyond of how to get us back and beyond that stigma. How to get us all being viable citizens and interested in our city, not always feeling we'll never get there. Our roads are not there. This is not there. There's no people here. Da 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 da. Let's talk first of all. We were trying to convince the folks how well you are open to everyone. And you mentioned during the break, you mentioned one thing I didn't know about till today was that you have a nonprofit that's been going on for 16 years, and we can bring you back for the nonprofit show as well. But where you're providing services for not just your community, but also the African American community, Latino community. So you right now are practicing what you're preaching.
Correct.
That you're not just singling out your population to render service to.
I mean, we've been doing it for the past 16 years, so I'm not just running and saying that I'm going to start doing it. And, so,
and during the break, I'm not supposed to say this, she even alluded to she's being on a four-lady talk show on a competitive radio network, and I'm not saying any more of that because that's get me in trouble.
Sounds fair.
But look at that, and I tell you this, it's one of our 2 African-American based stations, so maybe you can figure it out. So you see that she is meaningful. She's just not giving lip service to the community because she's won. It's not it should not be a sour grapes situation. Let's take that old deal, whether it's lemonade out of lemons, let's turn that grape into wonderful wine or something like that and make it into a positive instead of just saying, oh my God, we got to wait 4 years or 8 years till we can get our people back.
And Bob, very good point of getting into solution. I'm about, a solution. I'm about, we could talk about the problem and issue. Yeah. Let's move forward.
That's the problem. Everyone talks about the problem, and everyone says we're going to do the solution, but you never hear even the alternative. You never even hear what the solutions might be.
Yeah, and then
you don't hear. That's
and then
the
not
problem.
only that, but you could talk about the solution, but mean it.
Well, of course.
Right? Do something about it.
You can give a pie guy solution like, I'm going to build this whole new thing here because it depends on money. And we don't have the money, and how do we get the money? None of those things are laid out. So, right, it's not only talking about the problems, identify the solutions or alternative solutions, but things that can be done, not just pie in the sky, realistically, whether you got to chip away at it or whether you can do the whole thing at one time.
Correct. And since we're talking about economic development,
that's it, number one.
So I live down the street from the former Six Flag property.
Wow.
Yes. I actually passed by this morning coming to you. I drive by that area at least 4 times a day for 300. It's very distressful. It's very heartbreaking when you look at a 100 acres of land, and the city of New Orleans actually own it, and we have not been able to make move on it. Right. And then when you have like Oak Island subdivision, when you have like Willowbrook, you have Maple Ridge subdivision, you have La Charlotte subdivision, you have Mary Queen, and I'm just talking about the neighborhoods down the street. And I'm not even talking about Bullard, Reed, and further up, but you're talking about at least 7,000 individuals that have already rebuilt their home. And then you have a property. I have a property that is owned by the city of New Orleans that have not done anything at all.
And I had an idea when I in fact, I started writing. Everybody says there's always a book in you, or today's it's so important for you to have a book. I started doing my book last night. I have a problem. It's called age. And with age comes insomnia. I wake up every hour, with give or take 10 or 20 minutes. And what I do is all during the night, and part of that is I say, oh, you can tell you're old because you talk to yourself. I don't think I talk to myself during the day. I really don't. I haven't caught myself. But at night, I have, and I'm calling it something like insomnia, conversations with myself. And last night yesterday must have been my day, not only being able to get you, but I had all these conversations and ideas as well. I love to have ideas. I love to be able to solve problems and work at night when you're asleep. Yeah. There's no distractions.
That's right.
And one of the things I started exploring, and I'm going to just take this, and I'm wasting your time, I'm sure, with it, but because it seems like we're at such an impasse, and I don't know what the impasse is, or why that area can't be. I mean, it's been how many times it's been sent out for bids? 3, 4 times for developers, and never any satisfaction.
I mean, we do have potential developers at the table.
But what I recognize, and I had to have someone educate me yesterday who's a lot more intelligent than I. I always look at right next door to you all is Bayou Segnet.
Yep.
Now, I thought that was like most of our other, like Bayou over here, the one over here, Bayou, I don't know what it's called, I forgot. But I thought that was state property. That's not. That's federal property.
So Bayou Sauvage.
Sauvage. I said Seigneur is the one over here.
I was going to say.
Thank you for correcting me. Well,
no.
But anyway, what I'm saying is the one over here in the West Bank is state property.
Correct.
That is not. So I guess we don't have. And all we did, and he said it was something like 100 and some odd acres of that. It belongs to this. It's like a preservation reserve, and it's like the largest one in the nation. How many people even? And there's the one thing about knowing about it. But how much do we actually exploit it and bring it, not only for travelers, our people? We had before Katrina, and it was a pittance. I went one day, not that I'm not an outdoor person, folks.
So you're not, okay.
But I took this, whatever they called it, nature trail, and I kept saying, this is like taking someone's vacant lot, putting a paved fence around it. And I said, how does this qualify as a nature reserve, whatever they were calling it, okay? And even though it was an effort, it was just comparing it to this one over here, some of the others, it was minuscule. I'm saying, why not take, I don't know how far, where the Bayou Sauvage thing begins in relation to Six Flags.
Yeah.
But if some of that could be devoted to one, getting the acknowledgement and use, you can't use their property, but being right, created, and I don't mean a water park with the slide, but like a water park, like a swamp tour, you know what I'm saying? But kind of bring that into play, then bring all the retail, but get it to a vital status that can be something worthwhile that will be exploring this large population as well, this large benefit that we have, the Federal Reserve, but tying it into and making it more ecological, which is what we're looking for today.
When you think about it, you could actually go into partnership with all these different projects and then be able to market as a tourist attraction. Come to the east. When you come to the east, you could benefit from Bayou Sauvage. Right. The beautiful environmental landscape that we have here. Come to the east. So then you could then visit the Six Flag or the former Six Flag property, whatever that name is going to be, where it's a family-oriented type of entertainment.
But also, if you integrate it to two, instead of making it distinct, instead of saying, hey, we have four topics of interest here in the East, forgetting about retail now, whatever you're calling it, Bayou Sauvage, Jazz Land, or whatever.
And then
instead of making those two, even though you can't physically make it one.
Yeah, you can't.
But create the same environment. You know what I'm saying? Make it like it is a uniform. Here's the one where you can't touch because it's the Federal Reserve, we're protecting it. And here's the one where you can go be Walt Disney. You can be friendly to it, but it's mechanical birds. Or, you know what I'm saying? But instead of going with, we're just going to put ferrets, all the typical rides, make it more like the ecology one that Disney has.
No, Bob, we have, in order for the East and the project to survive, particularly the Six Flags, we have to create a concept that is innovative. We have to create a concept where Bob is going to travel all the way to the East and stay in the East because he can't get that anywhere else.
Right.
So when you think about it, that's how we're going to be able to survive and sustain our project. But not only that, but I also want to highlight things so the Nature Center is back. I don't know if you know.
Seen it, no.
Yeah, the Nature Center is open.
How does it compare to some of these ones like either Bayou Sauvage or Bayou Seigneur, or like in Mississippi, they have a magnificent one up in... So it almost looks like a chapel in the woods. It looks like it grew out of the forest.
I mean, the one that we have is actually much better than the one that we used to have. Correct. So it's definitely... So I want to credit the Audubon Institute for doing that. We have a very nice indoor atrium, a planetarium that you could actually go in there.
There's a planetarium.
Yes, where you could go in there, and I think it's like maybe a 5 minutes view where you could actually look up and see the moon or different videos that they have in there. And then there's a walking trail that you could actually take part of. And then I know for a fact that they have hosted different sleepovers, that you could actually do sleepovers.
Right.
So it's different stuff for the kids, and I think it's awesome. And then, of course, our hospital has reopened as well.
Sure, well, I know that, but I'm just saying nobody's going to come to see the East for the hospital. They might
for work.
Taking a ride, they might have an accident.
For work.
But for the residents to live, yes. But I think what we need is that big, exciting wow factor first to get other people and just the residents. Because if the other people start pumping the money into that district, residents will come.
Yeah.
All the other stuff will come.
We need that wild card to create jobs.
Exactly. Jobs, and then the accompanying domino effect of residents.
Correct.
And that's why I'm saying if we could unify in concept, like take the next road, build some artificial, like I said, Walt Disney World. There's another big one they just built somewhere. It's not even Walt Disney, but it's like a water trail. It's not just a typical slide, but it's built in with, of course, there's might be dinosaurs. But I'm saying we could capitalize on the rare type birds, the things that are growing in Bayou Sayet, to replicate that on a mechanical factor that people can take the visual tour. You can supplement it with the regular rides, but start integrating the whole theme to that. Yeah. So you got where else can you see and experience part of the largest preserve in the United States? You see, that's something.
Well, I mean,
and I'm not saying I have the answer.
Yeah.
But I'm saying what I don't understand, with all of the 8 years or however many years this has been trying to be accomplished post-Katrina, why no one can come up with a viable concept or concepts that can be, is it strictly the funders? We don't have people that will fund it?
I think, and you hit the point, I think we have developers that have very viable concept. I think the question is that, do they have the finance to be able to sustain the project or not? And I think that's the $1 million question right there. However, on the flip side of it, as a resident that lived down the street from it for umpteen years, and then a person that's been involved in economic development, if developers that come to the table, they're not wanting to lose money. They're going to want to make money, right?
Of course.
So to me, is that we have to be able to work closely with developers and make sure that we're a true partner, because at the end of the day, the citizen of District E, the citizen of the city of New Orleans, have 100 acres of blighted property.
Wow.
Okay. So to me is that we want, for me is to make sure that we take the politics out of all these business deals. We have to make sure that we're a partner to our business developers that really have a product that's going to foster growth for our community. And what do I do as a city council to make that happen for the people? Our young folks in District E, we have 29% is basically classified as young people. So you're talking about millennials,
right?
Okay, that are looking for work. I have a 24-year-old daughter. I have an 18-year-old daughter. And so I want Serena and Alexis to stay in New Orleans, but they can't stay in New Orleans if they can't find work.
Right.
If they don't have a space that they could be part of the community. When you think about it, our community is changing, is transforming, and we have to create space for our millennials to play a role in, because in the next 10 to 15 or 20 years, we're not going to be there. We want to make sure that they continue the work that we have been doing to keep the growth in our community. We just can't rebuild the community based on what we want,
right,
and what we're accustomed to, but we got to rebuild to where our next generation will have a role in it.
But here's what I don't, and once again, it's not like we're starting from scratch there. Because since Katrina, as you know, the New Orleans, not District E, but the New Orleans population, certainly whether it's the uptown or business, have grown with these folks and all these entrepreneurs, and we have all these organizations, Idea Village, we have, like you talked about Shark Tank. There's all these creates and funding organizations that are rewarding these individuals with concepts.
Yep.
And finding resources for those concepts to become reality. Well, why hasn't any of them been developed for the East? And I don't mean we should have to have a separate division. Why can't Idea Village I don't know how many they are, but I'm sure we could list them somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's.
Why aren't every one of them saying, well, why can't your people devote, and not only you, go to Tulane and to Loyola, especially Tulane's business school, where they always have, for the senior graduate, senior thesis or whatever, they have to do a project or they have to do creative stuff together, either in teams or individuals.
Yeah.
Get them to work on these ideas, focus directly on E.
Yeah. And we're not going to talk about the issue, we're talking about the solution, and that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
So this is an opportunity for me to reach out to your viewers and your listeners as well. For anyone that has a concept or an idea in reference to how to work and they want to play a role in District E, please reach out to me. I am very open to that.
This is what I'd like you to do, and this is, I've asked of several council, I won't name names, who are close personal friends, and to date, they have never done it. Some of them are still in their second or second term, whatever the maximum is. why can't you, just like, I know we can't vote for you online. We understand that, which maybe one day we will. But why can't you at least on your website or the city's website let the residents, and they don't have to be subjected to the nth degree, like, oh, you got to give me your driver, just your name or some kind of identifying you, and let them put concepts forward that is directly on the computer, visible to everyone. And then you, the council, and whoever else, the planning committee, take those every week at one part of the council meeting, and you prioritize them, give them a project number, and then continue to make a timeline, some kind of Gantt chart, some kind of chart whereby project ABC, whatever it is, this is where it stands. It was promulgated, it was passed by the council, and it's just still sitting there 3 years later. Nothing's been done beyond that. And that way the people, because if you start forcing that visibility, then accountability will come.
Transparency is very key.
Exactly. But how could that be that hard? Okay. I've even asked the mayor, and I won't say.
So, so my administration is going to be...
I'm doing all the talking. I apologize.
No, my administration is going to be about how do we be very transparent, how do we be accountable, how do we be accessible. Good. And those are the kind of key things that we're going to be focusing on. So I know that we're going to be hitting very hard in reference to our communications, to making sure that people are able to have access to me through different means, either through social media, through community meetings, pop-up that I will be doing. Like I've just won on November the 18th. For the past week and a half, I have been visiting different groups, going back to them and saying, hey, I haven't forgotten. I want you guys to know that I'm here. Let's start working on building up a schedule. Last night, I was at a community meeting up until about 8 o'clock last night, telling them that, hey, I'm here listening to the issue. Let's start working together. Been over to I'm actually going to the Low 9 this weekend and spending some time making sure that people know that we're out there, going to Venetian Owl on next Wednesday to meet with the people, following up. But, so communication is going to be very key. And I really like the idea of sharing, like, what project we're working on and giving people so that way people know that I'm not just sitting at my desk doing nothing. And
it's not because we want to fault you. We want to see the progress towards solutions. That's all we're asking of anybody occupying that seat.
Yep.
We want to say, okay, Bob, you had a nice idea, but here's the reasons we can't do it.
Yeah.
And don't just say funding. Be specific. And that's the next part I wanted to ask you, and I know I'm getting into territory that's probably like the budget. I asked someone about the budget. We were talking about the Committee for Better New Orleans, who was on here, developed that game, and I'm encouraging her very much to work with them.
If you send me the information, I'll be happy to reach out to the person.
I think they're going to be an invaluable resource, especially when we talk about the budget. They have that game, which is not done for video game purposes. It's done for reality to let you, the person, because we all complain about the budget. We don't even know how big the budget is. We don't know what goes to what. Yeah. This way you get to learn that. Now, seriously, I don't want to do that. That's so boring. It's not when you think you're in control and you can allocate those dollars to whichever department, even if you want it for potholes on blocks, such and such. I mean, it's probably not going to be done, but at the same time, you can put your input in, and that is being submitted to the council and the mayor, and if I remember correctly, it's going to be reported on, and I'm hoping the committee will do instead of just putting it on their website, do a broader outreach with regard to how to promote that information to see how well they did. But what I'd like to see is somehow the budget, even if it can't be restructured, but developed whereby after the fact, if not before the fact, how dollars and cents are shown for each district. How much of the big budget goes to Ed? Yeah. DE is always complaining, and no disrespect, and I don't mean that wrongly. We don't get a fair share of the budget, and everyone feels they don't, but nobody knows what it is. So after the fact, there should be a way to distinguish how much dollars, if you can't do it before, how much dollars went to the East, and each of the other categories, and in each category, like for roads and improvement, each of the lines, not just we gave $1 million to the East. $1 million, how was that broken up to? Yeah. And it's accountability. Correct. It's going to let people start feeling trust in their government. Now it's one buried under the general fund or the nebulous stuff that goes on. That the only people who know about it are the individual departments when they present the budget and the council. The normal person doesn't know anything about it.
And then, as taxpayers, at least it gives me an idea. Like, what? My money that I'm contributing, I'm getting it back in return to improve the quality of life. Right. So I think it works both ways.
It's never going to be dollar for dollar.
No,
you
of course
can know
not.
every one of your dollars is going to give you something that you in return. It's not going to be the case. And anyone who wants that, that's pie in the sky.
Correct, yeah.
But you've got to be seeing that the dollars are being used, not spent on personal things, but on directed toward all of our districts to worthwhile projects. Yeah. And the participation of the people should be involved in some of that prioritization. Mm-hmm. Like, should potholes get more than the crime cameras? Vice versa, Yeah. And if you involved, is that what they tell us? Oh, shoot. All right, folks. So fascinating. And then we have to do our last break. We only do 2 breaks when we have a guest, thank the Lord, and everyone else. So go ahead and listen to our wonderful sponsors, watch them, and catch us on the way back. And we're going to fill this whole thing with facts and fun. I hope it's fun for you because I'm enjoying the heck out of it. See you after the break.
Join in on Mondays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. for Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry. There are no limitations or boundaries. We talk about life, and guess what? That includes you. So download the app today, New Orleans Talk Network, and subscribe on YouTube. That's every Monday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. New Orleans Talk Network, Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New Orleans Talk Network.
Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on a golf course that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Hello, this is Dr. Glenda E. Williams.
This is Charles Stewart.
Dr. Anthony Williams.
And I want to encourage you to join Church Without Walls every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
And we want to encourage you to promote God's plan and not man's plan.
Don't you dare miss it.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
That's right. You're watching, as the lady should say, the New Orleans Talk Network. And I'm Bob B. with my Variety Hour on Wednesdays. This is the 5th Wednesday of the month where we don't usually have a schedule. We call it Lanyap Sorpresa for our Spanish-speaking friends. And came up with the idea to try and stay upbeat, to put my little foot in the water of politics without becoming a specialist like so many of my contemporaries. So I reached out to this lovely Ms. Cyndi Nguyen, who has just won the Council District E election, the Councilwoman-Elect, taking office, we think May 5th, or May 7th actually be in office, but sometime in May, if we're wrong on those dates, because that seems to be a little fluid. But we're having not a heated discussion, but certainly a passionate discussion this morning about two of her major platforms. And not that there's anything wrong with the other two, but I think once these two have really taken root and the people are seeing, one, that they have access to this young lady and to her office and hopefully to her counterparts, that it's not just, we're going to do this during the campaign trail, and then, then all you do is you complain till real election time. Mm-hmm. That they're going to be informing you all the time, and not just, as we talked during the break, not just in certain town hall meetings, which many of us can't attend because you're either at work or it's, at a very inconvenient time, but using these social media platforms in addition to the city website to broadcast what they're doing out there, not where they're going and not how many bows they cut, but what are the problems being identified, which we're hoping you will be able to filter to them through some way, and they'd be able to give you reports on the project and the progress, hopefully, of a lot of those suggestions, because that's the thing that's going to make it vital to you as a resident and also come to the overall improvement of District E. Okay, we've got somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes left. What else do you think we should, this was our free-form part, even though we've been free-forming all the time.
No.
What else can you think that we should talk about to let the people know?
Well, definitely, you mentioned about the social media and being accessible. Once we get, we're going to be doing a Facebook Live. I'm kind of looking at a Sunday, like around 7 o'clock. And just like you said, it's a filter for individuals that can't make it to the community meeting, that can't make it to City Hall, or don't see me in the community because they're working. Facebook Live is going to be another avenue that you could actually, provide your input, because your voice is also important. And I want to make sure that we create different avenues to engage you into the process. As I stated, I cannot do it by myself. I need people, not just in District E, but in the city of New Orleans, to engage with us to foster growth for District E. Because what doesn't happen in District E would impact the entire city of New Orleans. So when you think about it, we all need to kind of come together and work together to make sure that every district needs are being addressed. So I will be working very closely with my city council counterpartner. I've already reached out to them, have conversation already. And I'm very excited about the opportunity of working, but clearly and most importantly is representing the people needs and bringing good government back to city council. That's what I'm about. I'm going to bring good government, and sometimes, you just, you got to make those hard decisions, but it's going to be for the best interest for the people. But we're going to stay engaged with the people, making sure that I continue to be accessible to the people. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we are also making decisions to help move our district forward. So we can look at projects that, we got to look at 20 years from now. How do we want our district to look like? How do we want our community to look like? And we got to grow jobs. We got to have developments that's going to bring jobs in to our community, that's going to help a lot of our young folks to have jobs, so that way they're engaged in productive activity, and then that could help decrease the crime. Crime is happening everywhere in the city of New Orleans, right? Yes,
I mean, the only reason it's not as effective in dramatizing E is because they don't have any of the information out there. They have nothing to record it, nothing to document it, and not enough people to warrant justification. I guess that's the reason. But you can't tell me that District E doesn't get crime like some of the other districts.
I believe every neighborhood has their fair share.
Not immune.
So we
no
really need
immune.
to kind of work together to help decrease the crime issue, and work closely with our Superintendent Michael Harrison and the men and women that are working to protect our community every day.
Well, being an outsider all the time and working with a lot of nonprofits to try and get them, it was hard enough getting them because nonprofits, traditionally are grant-oriented, but today the grants have dried up and they're not available. And we've had to teach nonprofits to start acting like a for-profit. Some of them even actually partnering with a for-profit to get them to maintain their viability status. So that was one thing, just getting over those territorial reasons. We have the same thing here with all this other information. Everybody's territorial. Well, I want my block. My block is the center of the universe, and my block has to have everything, regardless of what my neighbor's block has. We have got to realize that nobody's going to be pleased 100%. I mean, it's the old Abe Lincoln, well, you can't please, although I'm probably misquoting. But anyway, the key here is getting at least identifiable information back to you, letting you participate and letting you know where you stand. I mean, you might say, oh, that lady, she says, but look, they won't fix the pothole on my street. She promised. Industry is, we always say being for profit. They want to privatize things, but they don't want to act like a for profit. And the perfect example was these crime cameras. A nonprofit, and I won't mention the name, started this concept, and I guess it was uptown because the people there could afford it more. And they would give a $200 camera, they would let you paid for the $200 camera, and they would install it on your house. Okay? They still exist, as far as I know, and got a lot of receptivity, certainly in the uptown area. What happened? The city decides, hey, that's a great idea, fighting crime with cameras. So we're going to do that too, and it's going to go to the policeman. Wonderful idea. But wouldn't you believe, we have two systems. We have the private system, people who bought those cameras, and they don't go, I believe, live to the police. They have their own recording people monitoring. But then the city is trying to force all of the people to go with the ones that I'm sure they're getting some money for selling these cameras. Yeah. But that's not the point. The point is, why would you develop two systems, some to access some, when we're talking about the whole city? If that's a viable project, which we all realize it is, we're not saying it's solving every crime, but they're getting more and more sophisticated, so less and less crime is coming as a result. Why not have one system that's integrated to all? Why spend all this money?
That's too easy.
But that's what, that's what really good government would be. Yeah. It's spending the people's money efficiently. Yeah. So you can't, nobody can complain who has a crime. Well, I got one. But hey, how come the police didn't come to, I got the non-profit camera and they didn't come as quick as they came. See, that's not fair. That's not, no, what did they tell us? What did they just say? Did you read it?
Oh, there it is.
Whoops, there it is.
Yep.
Okay. All right, folks, they're putting those nasty words up there on the screen. You can't see them, thank goodness. But what it's telling us is that our little time has run out. And, of course, the old adage that this could go on forever, and it's true. It really is true. This young lady has a tremendous mountain to climb, a lot of hurdles, and she needs your help. Not just working in our office. We don't mean that kind of help. She needs you to trust her and not just orally trust, to submit things. If you call an office, and I'm not going to talk about her district and specify, but if you call a district councilman's office, first of all, someone should always answer, unless there's a major emergency. I mean, if there's only one person in the office and her husband died, or that's a major emergency, or she gets sick. But it should always be answered. And it should be that at the end of the day or the end of the week, when you look, how many voicemails did you get that means weren't unanswered? And you develop whatever that percentage is, but it shouldn't be a high number. Even more importantly, that person or someone in your office needs to get back to whoever made that call, whether it's on that phone right when they call or within 2 days of the call. That's a viable parameter. Even if you don't have the answer, just to acknowledge that call and get the information and pass it on to the proper person. That's consideration, folks. That's human nature. Customer service, as you know, in our whole industry has become not customer service. Yeah. Everything is labeled customer service, but the old adage in restaurant, customer's always right. It's not anymore, kids. I mean, you go to a restaurant today, it's the server's right, or the waitress is right, the manager's right. You're never right. They always have, excuses or reasons, but you are never considered, except for looking for the payment. Same thing in these offices. You're paying for these people to work. And they're not out to make millions, hopefully, because of that. They're out to serve their country and to serve their city. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have access to her, if not directly, her representatives, and that feedback scheme, it's not one way, whether it's by phone call, whether it's by smartphone, whether it's by website, any of these things we're talking about. A responsible politician or community service organization or person is responsive to their clientele. Not just take the thing in and you never know where it is. Go ahead. I want you to finish because we're near the end.
I definitely appreciate that, Bob. And, so just, I want people to be engaged with us. So one of my rule of responding to phone call is that, my staff will have 48 hours to respond, and we will follow up. And if you feel like if you call the city council office, once we take office and you did not get a response, I will have my cellular phone published where people can have access to it.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I mean, the taxpayer is paying for the cell phone, so they should have access to it, right?
Exactly.
So,
but meanwhile, you can contact her through Facebook if you, right? Is that right?
Facebook.
What is your Facebook handle?
So my Facebook handle is hashtag Councilwoman-Elect Cyndi Nguyen. Yes.
Remember, that's C-Y-N-D-I. Everybody spells names differently nowadays. So Councilwoman-Elect Cyndi Nguyen, N-G-U-Y-E-N. Right?
You can messenger me, or you could, and I respond to all my messages.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
A lot of people say it, but don't. The important thing, though, is use some way of accessing her. Whether it's the phone call, whether it's the computer, the smartphone, the website, can they send any information through your website or no?
Yes, they can. It's actually info at voteforcindywin.com.
And that 4 is a number 4.
Or they could actually email me directly. It's at CindyWin, the number 4, District E at gmail.com.
Cyndi Nguyen 4, right?
4
at gmail.com.
No, District E.
District E. Ooh.
At gmail.com. So
That's
it's a little bit long, but
I'm going to ask Michael to put it up on ours, and so you can get some
great.
reference to it.
I appreciate that.
Oh,
and
sure.
we're trying to get our info from the city hall, so we're just using this temporary.
Be patient.
Exactly. Be very patient with us, please.
No, I'm talking about with the city hall.
Oh, I know. That's why I said please be patient with us, please.
All right, folks. Listen, it's really been a delight. It's been fast-paced. I think so. Anyway, maybe it's just me. But I hope you've enjoyed the show and realized the importance of it. And again, I know all the other districts say, well, what about us? If it turns out that it's of interest to you, let me know who you want, and I will reach out to them. Can't guarantee. Not everybody's accessible, but I will reach. I know a lot of them, so maybe they'll respond to me. But I think the key here is if we can get them all, at least, they can't solve all the economic development, certainly not for District E. They can hopefully collaborate, but at least they can be accessible, and that's what they all should be. Okay, folks, next Wednesday is our first Wednesday of the month, and we do Chef's Chat, and we'll be talking to a wonderful chef from, my goodness, I've forgotten where he's from. Oh, he's from here in Louisiana, down in Lafayette, I believe. James Lewis, I know his name. But anyway, look for the announcement. For those who follow me because of the restaurant thing, check on that. That's always a fun program. You get to see food and talk directly to the chef. Have a good weekend, and thanks again to my lovely guest. I appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye.